When the Lord begins to prepare a soul for greatness, He does not announce it with trumpets or display it before the eyes of men. He works quietly, deeply, within the hidden places of the heart. For the Spirit of God searches the innermost parts of man, and it is there, in the silence of your thoughts and the shaping of your imagination, that He lays the foundation of wealth, both the wealth of the soul and the abundance of life. Many pray for blessings, yet they do not discern the signs that God Himself is already preparing them to be vessels of prosperity, carriers of His glory, and witnesses of His power in the earth. To be a millionaire in spirit and life is not merely to hold riches in your hand, but to have riches overflowing from the kingdom within you. For the Lord has said, "The kingdom of God is within you." There comes a stirring when God begins His work. It is not the stirring of restlessness as the world knows it, but a holy unease, a divine dissatisfaction that whispers, "You were made for more." You find yourself no longer content with what once satisfied you. The places you dwelt in comfort suddenly feel too small, too narrow, too limited for the greatness that is pressing against the walls of your spirit. This is the first touch of the potter's hand, molding and shaping you for the abundance that is to come. It is the Spirit Himself stretching your faith, lifting your eyes from the dust of the earth to the vision of heaven, that you might recognize wealth not as coins or numbers, but as the outpouring of God's creative life through you. When God prepares you, He awakens in you the awareness of imagination sanctified by faith. For the carnal mind looks at lack and calls it reality, but the spiritual eye beholds the unseen promise and calls it forth. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, and it is by this unseen evidence that God teaches you to walk in the reality of abundance before it manifests in form. There will be nights where you lie awake, not in anxiety, but in holy contemplation, rehearsing within your spirit the life He has promised you. You will see yourself living as He has destined, walking in abundance, giving freely, lifting others, spreading His light. These are not fantasies of the flesh. They are the blueprints of heaven, revealed in the secret chamber of your inner being. And as you hold them, as you clothe yourself in them in the silence of prayer, the Spirit whispers, "This is who you are in me. This is what I have made you to be." The second sign is the breaking away from the chains of fear. For fear is the greatest robber of abundance, and the spirit of fear does not come from God. When the Lord sets His hand upon you to prepare you for wealth in spirit and life, He begins to strip fear away from your soul. You may feel the tremors as He shakes foundations you once leaned upon, but He is tearing down the false supports that cannot bear the weight of His glory. You will notice that the things which once terrified you begin to lose their power. The fear of lack, the fear of failure, the fear of men's opinions, all dissolve in the light of His presence. He trains your heart to say, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." He teaches you that security is not found in possessions, but in His word. And from that foundation of faith, true wealth begins to rise. For a soul freed from fear is a soul ready to be entrusted with abundance. The third sign is generosity born even in seasons of lack. When God prepares you for wealth, He does not wait until you hold much in your hand before He teaches you to give. He stirs within you a spirit of generosity that transcends circumstance. You find yourself moved to share when logic would tell you to hoard. You bless others with the little you have, not knowing that every seed you sow is multiplied in the heavenly realm. The world may call it foolish, but the Spirit calls it preparation, for how can you steward millions in spirit and life if you cannot release the little without fear? Remember the widow of Zarephath, who gave her last meal to the prophet and found her jar never empty. This is the economy of the kingdom. Give, and it shall be given unto you. God trains His chosen ones to trust in this divine economy, teaching them that generosity is the key that unlocks heaven's treasury. The fourth sign is the birth of vision that cannot be silenced. When God is preparing you, He impregnates your spirit with dreams so vivid they burn within you day and night. These are not mere ambitions born of ego, but divine assignments entrusted to you by heaven. You cannot shake them off, for they are written into the fabric of your being. You may try to dismiss them, thinking them too lofty, too impossible, but they will not leave you. They press upon your mind, they whisper in your prayers, they appear in your meditations, until you realize that they are not your own inventions, but the eternal purpose of God waiting to be revealed through you. The vision is wealth in seed form, and as you nurture it, as you carry it in faith, it grows until the day it manifests in life, blessing not only you but multitudes. The fifth sign is the refining of character through trials. Many cry for abundance, but refuse the furnace that shapes the vessel. Yet when God prepares you for great wealth in spirit and life, He does not withhold the fire. He allows challenges, difficulties, delays, and disappointments, not to destroy you, but to purify you. In these moments, you are being trained to value what truly matters. The impurities of pride, impatience, greed, and selfish ambition are burned away, leaving behind a heart that can handle wealth without being consumed by it. If you find yourself walking through seasons where prayers seem delayed and doors remain closed, do not despair. It is not rejection, it is preparation. For the Lord disciplines those He loves, and in that discipline He fashions a vessel of honor, ready to carry abundance that glorifies Him. The sixth sign is the transformation of your words. When the Spirit prepares you, He makes you aware of the creative power of your tongue. You begin to notice that you cannot speak carelessly anymore. Words of lack, defeat, and despair taste bitter upon your lips. Instead, you find yourself declaring life, speaking hope, proclaiming abundance even before you see it. You learn to call things that are not as though they are, for this is the language of faith. Your tongue becomes a pen of creation, writing the future into being by the authority of God's word. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, says Scripture, and when God is preparing you for wealth, He trains your lips to align with His promises. Every declaration, every prayer, every confession of faith builds the atmosphere in which His abundance manifests. The seventh sign is the deepening intimacy with Christ Himself. For what is wealth apart from Him? What is life if not hidden in Christ? When God prepares you to be a millionaire in spirit and life, He does not point you first to gold or silver, but to His Son. He awakens in you a hunger for His presence, a thirst for His word, a longing to abide in Him day and night. You discover that the greatest riches are not found in the treasures of earth, but in the knowledge of Christ Jesus. From that place of intimacy flows every other blessing. For when you seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, all other things are added unto you. The wealth of heaven begins with the wealth of knowing Him, and it is from this relationship that every outward manifestation of abundance springs forth. In these seven signs, the Lord reveals His hand at work, shaping, stretching, refining, and anointing you for the destiny He has ordained. To be a millionaire in spirit and life is not an accident. It is the outworking of divine preparation. And as you recognize these signs in your own journey, you begin to understand that God has already begun the work, and He who began it will be faithful to complete it. The Spirit of God does not waste His movements. When He begins to work within you, everything that happens in your life is used as material for the building of His purpose. Even the events that appear random are threads being woven into the greater tapestry of your destiny. You may not understand why certain doors close or why certain relationships fade, but the Spirit is arranging all things for the revealing of His abundance through you. There is no coincidence in the walk of faith, for the steps of the righteous are ordered by the Lord. He positions you in places you did not plan to be. He surrounds you with voices you did not expect to hear, and He nudges you toward opportunities you could not have foreseen. All of this is part of the preparation, for He is orchestrating your life with a wisdom beyond your own. As this preparation unfolds, you will find that your desires themselves begin to change. What once captivated you no longer holds the same power. The glitter of worldly pleasures begins to fade, and in its place grows a desire for things eternal. The Spirit sanctifies your imagination so that your longing aligns with heaven's purposes. You begin to yearn not only for prosperity in the outer world, but for the richness of compassion, for the beauty of holiness, for the power to heal, to restore, to uplift. This transformation of desire is itself a sign that God is preparing you for wealth that transcends mere currency. For when your longing is purified, when your heart seeks after His kingdom first, then you are ready to handle the abundance He will pour into your hands. Another mark of preparation is the awakening of boldness within your spirit. The timid heart cannot carry the mantle of wealth in spirit and life, for it would shrink back from opportunity and retreat in the face of challenge. But when God lays His hand upon you, a boldness arises, not born of arrogance, but of faith. You begin to step forward where once you hesitated. You find yourself speaking words you never thought you would say, moving into places you never thought you would enter, and attempting things that seemed impossible before. This is not the boldness of the flesh, which boasts in itself, but the boldness of the Spirit, which rests in the assurance of God's promises. You know that you do not move in your own strength, but in the power of the One who called you. This holy confidence is the evidence that God has already gone before you to make crooked places straight and to level mountains in your path. In the process of preparation, you will also notice a sharpening of discernment. Where once you may have been easily swayed by the noise of the world, now you begin to sense the difference between what is of God and what is not. The Spirit whispers to your heart when an opportunity is not aligned with your calling, and though it may glitter, you recognize it as fool's gold. You become sensitive to the subtleties of God's voice, to the gentle nudges that say, "This is the way, walk in it." Such discernment is crucial, for abundance attracts attention, and not all who come near will have pure intentions. The Lord trains you in advance so that when the wealth of spirit and life is entrusted to you, you will not be deceived by counterfeits or ensnared by false alliances. You learn to walk not by sight, but by the inner light of the Spirit. The path of preparation also awakens in you a spirit of persistence. For God does not give wealth to the double-minded or to those easily discouraged. He teaches you to endure, to wait upon Him, and to press forward even when the visible evidence is scarce. There will be times when everything around you seems contrary to the promise, yet the Spirit strengthens you to hold fast. Every delay becomes training for patience, every obstacle a lesson in perseverance, every setback a sharpening of your determination. This persistence is not stubbornness of the flesh, but faith rooted in the conviction that God's word cannot fail. The more you hold to His promises, the more you see that circumstances must eventually align with His word. And when abundance finally bursts forth, it will not overwhelm you, for you have been strengthened by the journey. During this sacred preparation, solitude often becomes a companion. The Lord will sometimes draw you away from the crowd, not as punishment but as protection. He places you in seasons where you walk alone, that you may learn to hear His voice without distraction. In the stillness, He speaks to you secrets that are not given to the multitude. He deposits within you strategies, ideas, and revelations that become the foundation of your future abundance. Though loneliness may sting for a moment, it is in these quiet chambers of the soul that the richest treasures are revealed. You will later realize that what seemed like isolation was, in truth, consecration, God setting you apart for the wealth He has prepared. A further sign that God is preparing you is the increasing weight of responsibility you sense upon your spirit. You begin to realize that your life is not your own, that the abundance being shaped within you is not meant for selfish indulgence, but for the blessing of many. You feel the call to be a steward rather than an owner, a channel rather than a reservoir. Your thoughts begin to stretch beyond your own needs to the needs of communities, nations, and generations. This sense of responsibility humbles you, reminding you that true wealth is not measured by what you possess, but by what flows through you to others. The Spirit engraves upon your heart the truth that, to whom much is given, much is required. And in that realization, you yield yourself fully, saying, "Lord, let my life be the vessel of your abundance." As the preparation continues, you will experience an intensifying awareness of the power of gratitude. The ungrateful heart cannot hold abundance, for it will always perceive lack, no matter how much is given. But the Spirit trains you to give thanks in all things, to see even the smallest blessings as tokens of God's faithfulness. Gratitude multiplies what you have, for it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. In moments of thanksgiving, your heart aligns with heaven's flow, and increase begins to move toward you. You discover that gratitude is not merely an emotion, but a spiritual law, unlocking the gates of provision and ushering in greater abundance. Those who complain repel blessings, but those who give thanks attract the very atmosphere of heaven into their lives. Another aspect of God's preparation is the deep inner conviction that you are chosen for a purpose beyond ordinary living. This conviction may not always make sense to others, and at times you may even wrestle with it yourself, but it remains unshakable. You feel as though destiny itself is pulling you forward, as though an unseen hand is guiding your steps towards something vast and eternal. This sense of chosenness is not pride but calling. It humbles you to realize that the God of heaven has written your life into His plan, and that your journey carries weight in His eternal design. The awareness of this calling sustains you in dark times, reminding you that even the wilderness is leading somewhere, that even the valleys are part of the ascent to the mountain of abundance. And so, step by step, sign by sign, the preparation unfolds. God does not rush the process, for He knows the greatness of what He is entrusting to you. He takes His time, refining, molding, shaping, until your spirit is strong, your faith unshakable, your heart purified, and your vision clear. Along the way, you begin to realize that the true wealth is not merely in what you will one day possess, but in who you are becoming in Him. The transformation of your character, the renewal of your mind, the deepening of your faith, these are riches greater than silver and gold. And from this inner wealth flows the outer abundance, for life always manifests from within outward. When the day comes that the fullness of God's promise breaks forth in your life, you will not be surprised. For though the world may marvel and call it sudden, you will know that it has been long in the making. Every trial, every prayer, every whispered promise, every seed of generosity, every night of vision, all have been preparing you for this moment. And you will recognize that you were never waiting for wealth. Wealth was waiting for you, waiting until the vessel was ready, waiting until your spirit was aligned, waiting until you could carry abundance without it carrying you away. This is the mystery of divine preparation, that God withholds nothing from you, but holds everything for you until the appointed time. Beloved, the journey to becoming a millionaire in spirit and in life is not about chasing wealth, but about yielding to the one who is the source of all. Every sign, every stirring, every refining work of God in you is His way of saying, "I am preparing you for more than you can imagine." Do not despise the process, for the process is the proof that His hand is upon you. When you see the holy dissatisfaction within, when fear begins to crumble, when generosity flows freely, when vision ignites your soul, when trials refine you, when your words align with His promises, and when intimacy with Christ becomes your treasure, Know that you are already walking in the wealth of His kingdom. True abundance begins within, and from the fullness of Christ in you, life overflows outwardly into every area. So walk boldly, give freely, dream greatly, endure patiently, speak faithfully, and above all, abide deeply in Him. For in Christ you lack nothing, and in Him you already hold the inheritance of heaven. The day will come when what God has prepared in secret will be revealed openly, and all will know that the Lord Himself has made you rich in spirit and in life, for His glory and for the blessing of many.
Beloved, I tell you this, your time of wealth has already come. It is not something distant, not a future reward, not a chance waiting in the dark. It is here, now, as close as your very breath. For what you desire you already contain within. Wealth is not to be chased, for it lives in your consciousness first, and from there it shapes your world. When you feel a longing for greater abundance, it is not a sign of absence. No, it is the whisper of fulfillment calling you. The desire itself is the proof that what you seek is already yours. You could not hunger for what was not already provided. All things begin in the imagination. What you see within yourself with feeling, you draw into form without effort. The world is but a mirror, showing you your inner assumptions. If you live inwardly as though wealth surrounds you, then it must express itself outwardly in your affairs. Remain open. Do not close the door with fear or doubt. Do not measure your life by appearances. The visible world is only the echo of your unseen faith. The secret is to trust that what you imagine and feel is more real than what your senses declare. Your wealth is not on its way, it is here. Let that awareness rise in you. Walk as though you already possess the life you long for. Speak as though every need is answered. Give thanks for abundance before it appears. And soon it will appear in ways so natural you may forget you once called it forth. Stay open, beloved, open to possibility, open to the quiet voice within, open to the truth that your imagination creates reality. The moment you accept this, the doors swing wide. Wealth flows to you, through you, and around you, for it was always yours. Your time has arrived. Now rest in the assurance of it, and let the world bring it forth. Wealth is not something you need to run after, nor is it something far away waiting for a distant moment to arrive. It is already present in your consciousness, quietly resting in the unseen realm of your being. The truth is that everything you desire in this life already exists within you, as a possibility, as an image, as a vibration waiting for recognition. What most people call lack is nothing but a blindness to the riches already present inside. The outer world may show limitations, but the inner world has no boundaries. The moment you align your inner state with the feeling of wealth, your outer life must bend and reshape itself to match it. Every man and woman holds within the power to choose the state they live from. If you live from the state of struggle, you will see evidence of struggle. If you live from the state of abundance, abundance will unfold in ways beyond your logical planning. Wealth is not about money alone. It is about a consciousness of sufficiency, a knowing that you are supported by life, that nothing is withheld from you. To align with wealth means to accept in your heart that you already possess it. It means to speak, act, and imagine as though wealth is the natural environment in which you exist. This alignment does not require force. It does not mean working harder, worrying longer, or striving endlessly. Alignment is a quiet turning inward, a shift of focus from the outer appearance of lack to the inner assurance of abundance. You align by training your imagination to dwell only on the reality you wish to see expressed. You align by allowing yourself to feel the joy of already having, even if no physical evidence yet appears. This is not pretending, it is acknowledging that the unseen is more real than the seen. The world outside is simply the delayed reflection of what is already accepted inside. When you say to yourself, wealth is here, you begin to open the channels through which it can flow. Your actions change, your choices change, your energy attracts differently, opportunities that were once invisible reveal themselves, people who carry the keys to your next level cross your path. What some call coincidences are nothing but your inner alignment expressing itself outwardly. The greatest barrier to wealth is not a lack of resources, but a refusal to believe that you already have access to them. Fear, doubt, and comparison close the door. Faith, gratitude, and expectancy open it. To align with wealth is to stand firm in the knowing that life responds to your inner assumption, not your outer complaints. So you need not strive to get wealth as though it is missing. You need only align with the truth that it is already yours. Live in that awareness, breathe in that feeling, and soon the invisible will harden into visible form. Wealth is not coming, it is here. And it is waiting for you to accept it. Desire is so often misunderstood. Many look at the stirring of desire within themselves and immediately judge it as proof of absence. They say, if I want it, it must mean I do not have it. But the truth is quite the opposite. Desire does not come to you because something is missing. It comes because something is already yours in the unseen. The presence of desire is not emptiness. It is the signal that what you seek is already prepared for you, and life is inviting you to align with it. Think of desire as a seed. When you see a seed in your hand, you do not mourn the absence of a tree. You know that the seed contains within it everything required for the tree to grow, branch out, and bear fruit. The desire within you is that seed. It contains the full reality of what you seek. The moment you become aware of a desire, the fulfillment of it is already alive in the invisible. Your task is not to question whether it is possible, but to nurture it in imagination, to rest in the assurance that it belongs to you. Many have been conditioned to see desire as weakness, as longing, as a reminder of what they lack. This belief leads to struggle, to chasing, to endless dissatisfaction. But if you could see clearly, you would recognize that desire itself is the proof of abundance. You could not long for something unless it already existed for you in potential. You could not dream of wealth, love, or freedom if those things were not already prepared in the fabric of your being. Desire comes as a messenger whispering, "This is yours." Dare to believe it. When you shift your view of desire from lack to evidence, everything changes. You no longer chase after dreams in desperation. You no longer beg life to give you what you think is missing. Instead, you rest in quiet confidence, knowing that what you feel drawn to is already present in your reality, waiting to be revealed. The more deeply you accept this truth, the faster it begins to take form. Desire is not your enemy, it is your guide. It points you toward the experiences your soul is ready to live. It is not there to taunt you, but to awaken you. When you resist desire, when you call it lack, you block the very thing you are meant to receive. But when you embrace desire, when you feel it with gratitude and certainty, you align yourself with its fulfillment. Every longing within you is a bridge. It connects your present moment with your greater reality. You would not feel the desire if it were not already yours in some dimension of existence. The very fact that you can imagine it is proof that you are capable of receiving it. Desire, then, is not emptiness. It is fullness calling you home. Imagination is the birthplace of every form, the silent power behind all that appears in your world. What you see around you, whether wealth, beauty, or limitation, is nothing more than the hardened shadow of imagination. Many believe that outer conditions shape their lives, yet it is always the unseen images they carry within that call forth the visible. Imagination is not a pastime, not fantasy, not a dream with no weight. It is the creative law at work, the very key that unlocks the treasure house of abundance. Every invention that has ever blessed humanity began as a picture in someone's mind. The chair you sit on, the device you hold, the house you live in, all were first imagined. Before there was substance, there was a thought clothed in feeling. That same power works in you, waiting for your direction. When you imagine with intensity and conviction, you are impressing upon reality the pattern it must take. The outer world has no choice but to echo the inner design. Abundance is not achieved by effort alone. Countless people labor without ceasing, yet remain in struggle because their imagination is saturated with images of lack. They work with their hands, yet in the unseen they see themselves as poor, as needy, as unworthy. Their imagination is locked, and so abundance remains locked away from them. But the moment a man or woman dares to see differently within, the locks fall off. To imagine yourself surrounded by wealth, to feel the ease of it, to rest in the joy of it, that is the master key. The door opens, and visible abundance walks in naturally. The nation has no concern with appearances. It does not ask whether the bank account is low or the opportunities seem scarce. It moves according to the image held within. If you continually entertain pictures of failure, your life must reflect it. But if you deliberately choose to see yourself prosperous, free, and provided for, then life must shape itself accordingly. The law is impartial. It gives you whatever you accept inwardly as true. To use imagination rightly is not to wish vaguely, but to feel specifically. See yourself living in the reality you desire. Hear the words spoken to you when you have succeeded. Feel the gratitude of already receiving. In such moments of inward vision, you are planting the seeds of abundance. The soil of reality will bring forth the harvest in due season. The world may call it daydreaming, but it is not idle. It is the most practical act you can perform. The wealth you long for, the opportunities you hope for, the freedom you seek, these are all unlocked by the images you dare to hold. Do not underestimate this gift. Imagination is the key placed in your hand. Turn it, and the invisible riches become visible. Unlock it, and the abundance that is already yours will rush to meet you. To receive anything in life, you must first accept it inwardly. The world does not hand gifts to those who wait with empty hearts. It responds to those who have already claimed their treasure within. Living inwardly in the feeling of already having is the secret posture of true abundance. It is the quiet conviction that what you long for is not far away, not something you must chase, but something you already hold in your unseen reality. The outer world only reflects back what you have dared to accept within. Many live in a state of waiting. They wait for the job before they feel successful. They wait for the relationship before they feel loved. They wait for the money before they feel secure. Yet in doing so, they delay endlessly. For life mirrors their waiting. It cannot deliver the thing they seek because inwardly they are dwelling in the state of not having. The law of creation does not bring to you what you want. It brings to you what you are conscious of already being. To live in the feeling of already having is to shift from longing to possession. It is to walk through life with the quiet assurance that your desire is accomplished, though no evidence yet surrounds you. It is not pretending or tricking yourself. It is acknowledging that the unseen is the root and the seen is only its fruit. The root always comes first. If you nourish the root with the feeling of already having, the fruit must appear in time. Imagine for a moment the thing you most desire. Do not look at it from a distance. Enter into it. See yourself in the scene where it is already real. Hear the voices that would congratulate you. Feel the weight of it, the texture, the joy of its completion. In those inner moments, you are doing the very work that brings it into form. You are dwelling in the state of possession, and possession must express itself outwardly. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude says, "It is done." Gratitude is the natural language of one who already has. When you give thanks before you see, you are aligning yourself with the reality of having. That vibration calls forth the circumstances, the people, and the events needed to bring it into view. The world cannot resist the one who lives in gratitude for what is already theirs. Receiving, then, is not passive. It is not sitting idle hoping for fortune to appear. It is an active inner alignment, a choice to inhabit the feeling of the end fulfilled. When you live this way, the waiting ends, for you are already there in consciousness. And because consciousness is the only true cause, your outer life must conform. So do not wait to feel secure, abundant, or loved. Feel it now, claim it now, live in the certainty that it is yours, and soon the world will echo back to you what you have already embraced within. Doubt and fear are the greatest thieves of abundance. They whisper that what you desire may never come, that life is uncertain, that you are unworthy of good things. The moment you allow those voices to take root, you shut the very door through which blessings will enter. Doubt looks at appearances and says, "It is not here." Fear looks at time and says, "It may never arrive." Both close your heart and blind your vision, but faith and expectancy. These are the keys that swing the door wide open. They are the hands that welcome abundance, the posture that says to life, "I am ready." Faith is not blind, it is not foolish hoping. Faith is the assurance that what you have accepted inwardly must one day appear outwardly. It knows that imagination creates reality, that what you assume with feeling must clothe itself in form. Faith does not need evidence to stand tall. It is itself the evidence. To believe before you see is the essence of creation, for the unseen always precedes the seen. Expectancy is the natural companion of faith. When you expect something, you prepare for it. You create space for it. A person who expects a guest tidies their home and sets the table. In the same way, one who expects abundance prepares inwardly and outwardly. They act as though the blessing is already on its way. They walk with anticipation, not anxiety. They know the delivery is certain, so they rest in joy before the knock at the door. Fear, on the other hand, cripples the imagination. It creates pictures of loss, failure, and delay. And because imagination is the womb of creation, those very fears can harden into reality if entertained long enough. The world is impartial. It reflects whatever state you occupy most deeply. If you dwell in fear, you build walls around yourself. But if you dwell in faith, you dissolve those walls and allow life to flow freely. The choice then is always before you. Will you close the door with fear or open it with faith? Will you expect disappointment or will you expect fulfillment? The energy you carry determines the outcome. When you stand in faith, opportunities find you. When you live in expectancy, circumstances align. What others call luck is simply the natural fruit of one who has kept the door open through unwavering trust. Do not think you must be perfect to walk in faith. Even the smallest seed of belief, if nurtured, can move mountains. When fear arises, do not fight it, replace it. Turn your attention to the end you desire and feel it real. Let gratitude wash away doubt. Let expectancy replace hesitation. Every moment you choose faith over fear, you keep the door open for abundance to enter. Life is generous, but it cannot force its gifts upon a closed heart. Open the door with faith. Hold it wide with expectancy. What you desire is waiting outside, ready to come in the moment you believe. Wealth is not something to be forced, chased, or wrestled into your life. It flows naturally, just as rivers flow toward the sea when you remain open, receptive, and trusting. Life is abundant by nature. Look at the sky filled with stars, the oceans overflowing with waves, the endless cycles of sunrise and harvest. Scarcity is not the law of life. Abundance is. But to experience it, you must be willing to open yourself, to receive, and to trust that what belongs to you cannot be withheld. When you close yourself with worry, with doubt, with resistance, you block the natural flow. Imagine standing by a river with a clenched fist, trying to grab the water. No matter how hard you try, you cannot hold it. And in your effort, you miss the beauty of its flow. Wealth is the same. It does not respond to force. It responds to openness. The open heart says, I am ready. The receptive mind says, I will allow life to surprise me. The trusting soul says, all is well, for abundance is certain. Receptivity is an inner posture. It means letting go of control and surrendering the need to know how or when things will come. Too often people block wealth because they insist on dictating the exact path it must take. They believe it can only arrive through their job, their business, or a single opportunity. But life is far more creative than that. When you are receptive, you allow channels to open where none existed before. The wealth you seek may flow through an unexpected idea, a chance encounter, or a door you never thought to knock on. Trust is the companion of receptivity. Trust says, even if I do not see it yet, it is on its way. Even if appearances seem empty, abundance is already here. Trust allows you to rest, to live in peace, while the unseen arranges itself into the seen. Without trust, impatience creeps in, and impatience is a form of resistance. But with trust, you stand in quiet confidence, knowing that life never fails to deliver what has been claimed inwardly. Openness, too, is essential. To be open is to let go of the stories that say wealth is hard, that you must struggle endlessly, that only a few are fortunate. Such beliefs are closed doors. To be open is to believe that wealth is natural, that it belongs to you as much as the air you breathe. It is to see yourself not as a beggar at life's table, but as an heir to its abundance. When you live open, receptive, and trusting, wealth does not trickle, it flows. Ideas come easily, opportunities unfold, people extend their hands, and circumstances align in ways you could not plan. What you once called miracles become ordinary, for you have entered the natural rhythm of abundance. Wealth is not a prize you earn. It is a river already flowing. Open yourself, trust its course, and you will find it carries you exactly where you are meant to be. The truth is simple yet profound. Wealth has never been absent from you. It has always lived in your consciousness, waiting for you to recognize it. Desire is not lack, but proof of possession. Imagination is the key that unlocks what is already yours. To receive, you must first feel it within. Faith and expectancy open the door wide, while fear and doubt only close it. And when you remain open, receptive, and trusting, wealth flows to you naturally. Like rivers returning to the sea, your time of wealth has arrived. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Live as though it was already yours, for in truth it is. Walk in the assurance of it, rest in the joy of it, and let the world reflect back the abundance you have already claimed within. Thank you for listening. May you go forward with confidence, with faith, and with an open heart, knowing that your abundance is here and now.
Beloved, I tell you now, your reality is not fixed. It bends, it reshapes, it transforms according to the vision you hold within. Many believe life is a sequence of events dictated by chance, but the truth is deeper. Your outer world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting the state of your inner being. And today, I assure you, your reality is shifting into wealth and blessings. Do not be deceived by appearances. Perhaps your bank account seems small, perhaps circumstances appear difficult, but appearances are shadows. They hold no real power. The real substance of life lies in your imagination, in the picture you dare to accept as true. If you persist in wealth within, if you see yourself as blessed now, then the outer must yield. It has no choice but to conform. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you awaken within. The river of abundance flows through your very being. You are not waiting for a blessing to arrive. You are the source through which blessings spring forth. When you assume yourself to be rich in mind, rich in heart, rich in spirit, the world mirrors that assumption back to you in form. Live as though it is already done. Feel the satisfaction of answered prayers. Speak from fulfillment, not from longing. When you walk in the awareness that your desire is already accomplished, you step into the state where wealth and blessings must manifest. The shift is not in the world, it is in you. And once you shift, the world reorganizes itself to reflect your new inner certainty. Faith is the bridge from the unseen to the seen. The moment you believe, truly believe, the blessing exists. It begins to take shape. Unseen hands arrange the path. Doors swing open. Opportunities unfold. What you once called impossible becomes the natural course of your life. And above all, give thanks. Gratitude is the secret power that multiplies blessings before they appear. Do not wait to see the evidence. Thank the unseen now. Thank the wealth you cannot yet count. Thank the blessings that are already on their way. Gratitude seals the shift, accelerating the passage from imagination to reality. So I say to you, rest in this truth. Your reality is shifting even now. What was once lack is dissolving. What was once delay is gone. Wealth and blessings are not coming, they are here. Stand firm in this knowing and watch as the outer world bends to the inner vision you have dared to accept. Imagination is the foundation of wealth, for nothing in this world is born without first being conceived in the unseen realm of thought. Every building, every business, every invention, every fortune began first as an image within the mind of one who dared to believe it possible. Wealth does not begin with money, nor with opportunity, nor even with effort. It begins with the unseen act of holding a picture so firmly in consciousness that the outer world has no choice but to yield to it. What you imagine with feeling, what you accept as true in the secret chambers of your mind, must eventually step forth as fact in your lived experience. If you look closely at your life today, you will see the evidence of imagination at work. The clothes you wear, the home you live in, the relationships you experience, all of it was once an unseen idea before it solidified into form. Many dismiss imagination as mere fantasy, but imagination is the workshop of creation. To dismiss it is to deny the very power that shapes reality. If you desire wealth and blessings, you must begin not by striving outwardly, but by crafting the inner vision. The mind is a fertile soil, and imagination is the seed. Whatever seed you plant and water with feeling must grow. If you sow seeds of lack, pictures of debt, fear, or limitation, then lack becomes the harvest. But if you sow seeds of wealth, seeing yourself prosperous, secure, and abundant, then wealth must come forth. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when. The law is certain: the outer world has no choice but to conform to the inner image that you persist in holding. Consider how effortlessly the mind drifts to worry, and how quickly those worries take shape in the outer world. This is proof of the creative power of imagination. If worry can manifest circumstances of fear, then why should not confident imagining of wealth manifest blessings? The key lies in awareness. Most people use imagination unconsciously, filling their minds with doubt and lack. But the one who becomes deliberate, who chooses to fill the mind with wealth, gratitude, and fulfillment, becomes the master of reality. To imagine wealth is not merely to think of riches in passing, it is to enter into the state where wealth is already yours. It is to see yourself living in the home you desire, walking in the freedom of abundance, feeling the joy of having more than enough. As you sustain that inner picture, you fuse with it. The world then begins to mirror back opportunities, connections, and circumstances that align with your new inner state. Imagination is not pretending, it is creating. Do not despise small beginnings in the outer world. Even if nothing yet appears to change, hold fast to your inner picture. Just as a seed beneath the soil grows invisibly before it breaks through the surface, so your wealth is forming even now in the unseen. Persist in imagination, and the day will come when the invisible becomes visible, when the wealth you have held within is expressed without. Imagination is the foundation, and all else rests upon it. To master your imagination is to master wealth itself, for what you hold in consciousness must eventually clothe itself in reality. Do not bow to appearances, for the outer world is nothing more than a shadow cast by the inner state. What you see with your eyes may seem solid, permanent, and undeniable, but it is only the echo of what you have previously assumed within. Appearances deceive because they are always behind the truth. They are delayed reflections of an earlier state of mind. If you yield to what you see, if you let appearances dictate your belief, you give power to shadows instead of to substance. The true law of life is not what appears in the outer world, but the assumption you hold within. Your inner state is the higher law, and it governs the outer, whether you recognize it or not. When lack shows itself, when difficulties arise, when doors appear closed, you are being tempted to bow to appearances. But the wise do not surrender to what their senses insist upon. Instead, they turn inward to the truth that all things must bend before assumption. The outer world cannot help but reorganize itself to match the inner conviction. To accept what appears as final is to trap yourself in the cycle of repetition. To stand firm in your assumption, even when appearances deny it, is to set in motion the force that brings about transformation. Imagine a seed buried in the soil. For weeks there may be no sign of growth, only barren ground. To the eye, nothing is happening, yet beneath the surface, life is stirring. Roots are forming, and the seed is pressing upward. If you judged by appearance alone, you would call it empty earth and give up. But the one who trusts the process knows the truth. The seed must break through. So it is with your assumption. You may not see immediate change in the outer world, but beneath appearances, forces are moving, shaping, aligning. To doubt because you cannot yet see is to uproot your own seed. Your assumption is the command, and appearances must obey. The law works in silence and secrecy, but it never fails. To assume wealth in the midst of lack, to assume healing while the body still aches, to assume success while circumstances scream failure, this is true faith. It is the refusal to bow to appearances. It is the knowing that the inner world is sovereign. Sovereign. When appearances rise against you, do not wrestle with them. Do not fight the shadow. Simply return to your inner conviction. Hold fast to the assumption that what you desire is already accomplished. Let the outer world argue. Let it mock. Let it appear contrary. Stand in the higher law of assumption, and soon the outer will dissolve and reform to reflect your inner stand. Life is not lived from without in, but from within out. Appearances are the weakest evidence of truth. They are temporary, fleeting, and subject to change. The inner assumption is eternal, creative, and commanding. So I say, never bow to appearances. Hold your vision with unwavering faith, and watch as the shadows bow before you. For the inner law is the only law, and it is always victorious. Wealth is already within you, for the source of every blessing flows from the depths of your own consciousness. The common belief is that wealth comes from external circumstances, jobs, opportunities, investments, or people, but these are merely channels, not the origin. The true fountain of wealth is your inner state, and what you hold there will inevitably take shape in your outer world. You are not waiting for a blessing to arrive from outside. You are the wellspring from which blessings arise. Think for a moment. All the great fortunes, inventions, and discoveries humanity has witnessed began first in the invisible realm of thought. A wealthy man's riches do not begin with his possessions. They begin with the way he sees himself. If he was stripped of everything but kept his inner conviction, he could rebuild his fortune again and again. Why? Because wealth is not what you own, but what you are within. To believe otherwise is to live as though disconnected from your own creative source. Many live in the illusion that life must first give them evidence before they can feel secure, abundant, or blessed. But this is like waiting for a harvest without planting a seed. Your inner state is the seed. If you live in the feeling of lack, even with money in hand, you will eventually lose it, for the outer world must match the inner condition. But if you live in the state of wealth, even if circumstances show emptiness, wealth must come forth, for the law cannot be broken. To realize wealth is within you is to free yourself from fear and dependence on circumstances. You are no longer at the mercy of the market, the employer, or the world's economy. You begin to walk in the truth that abundance flows from your consciousness. Opportunities appear because you are in the state to receive them. Ideas come to you because you believe yourself to be guided. Resources gather around you because your inner state calls them forth. What seemed impossible becomes natural, for the outer world is only answering to the song you are singing within. To access this inner wealth, you must dare to see yourself as already blessed. Do not wait until your hands can count it. Feel it now in your heart. Walk as one who is abundant, speak as one who is prosperous, and think as one who already has more than enough. This is not fantasy, it is creation. You are aligning yourself with the higher truth that wealth rises from within and must externalize. Blessings are not withheld from you. They are not locked away in some distant future. They are here, waiting for recognition. The moment you shift your inner state to wealth, gratitude, and sufficiency, you unlock the flow. The outer world may take time to reorganize, but it cannot resist your assumption. So release the belief that you are empty, waiting to be filled. You are already filled, already blessed, already rich within. Let this truth saturate your mind and feelings. From this state, life must mirror back wealth in every form: money, opportunities, health, joy, and peace. For the treasure is not out there, it is within you, rising now to meet you in the world without. Live as though it is done, for this is the key to shifting reality. The great secret of creation lies not in wishing, hoping, or waiting, but in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled now. To live as though it is done is to anchor yourself in the end result and to walk with the joy, gratitude, and certainty of one who already possesses what they once longed for. The world responds not to your desires in words, but to the vibration of your inner state. When you embody the state of already having, reality bends to reflect it. Most people live as though their desires are always in the future, always just out of reach. They say, one day I will be wealthy, someday I will be healed, soon I will be happy. But the future never arrives as long as it is postponed in thought. To keep your desire in the future is to keep it away from yourself. The only way to draw it near is to claim it now, to say within, it is already mine, I have it, I am it, I live in it. This is not self-deception, it is creation. Living as though it is done is not about pretending outwardly. It is not about showing the world signs of wealth you do not yet possess, or forcing results with effort. It is about cultivating the inner feeling of fulfillment until it becomes your natural state. Imagine the relief of answered prayer, the joy of accomplishment, the gratitude of abundance. Feel it now, as though the outer world had already caught up. By sustaining this feeling, you impress upon your subconscious the reality of its truth, and the outer world must eventually conform. Gratitude plays a powerful role in this process. When you give thanks in advance, you prove to yourself that it is already done. Gratitude seals the assumption. It tells the mind and the universe, I know this is mine. I know it is finished. Gratitude does not wait for evidence. It creates it. And the more sincerely you feel it, the faster the invisible arrangement of your desire moves into form. Certainty is also required. Doubt weakens the assumption and keeps you bound to appearances. To live as though it is done, you must rest in quiet confidence, knowing that the unseen is more real than what your senses report. Just as the seed in the soil is unseen but guaranteed to grow, your desire, once assumed, is guaranteed to manifest. Live in the certainty that nothing can prevent it, for the outer world is powerless against a sustained inner state. So live in the end. See yourself already there. Walk in the joy of accomplishment. Let gratitude fill your heart for blessings you cannot yet see. Refuse to wait for appearances to give you permission to believe. Instead, let your belief command appearances to change. Living as though it is done is not a practice of delay. It is the key that shifts reality now. And as you persist, you will see your world align perfectly with the state you dared to assume. Faith moves the unseen into the seen, for faith is the bridge between imagination and reality. Everything you desire already exists in the invisible realm, waiting for your acceptance. The moment you dare to believe, the arrangement of your blessing begins to unfold. To the natural eye, nothing may seem to change, but in truth, unseen forces are at work, moving, aligning, and preparing the way. Faith is not hoping that something might happen. Faith is the inner knowing that it is already done. It is the assurance that what you cannot yet touch or see is more real than the evidence before your eyes. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. You trust the process, though the soil shows no sign of life. Faith operates in the same way. It does not bow to appearances, nor does it require immediate evidence. Faith knows that the invisible contains the pattern of the visible, and with patience, the unseen will break forth into the seen. To doubt is to uproot your seed, but to believe is to let it grow into its destined form. The invisible arrangement of your blessing is already underway. The people, opportunities, and circumstances that will deliver your desire are being drawn to you now. Though you cannot track the details, faith assures you they are moving into place. Just as the roots of a plant form before the stem rises above ground, so too are the unseen roots of your blessing taking hold. To the untrained eye, it may appear that nothing is happening, but faith rests in the unseen and knows that manifestation is inevitable. Belief is the magnet that draws it forth. Your outer world is always reflecting your inner conviction. If you believe in lack, lack appears. If you believe in delay, delay becomes your experience. But if you believe it is already yours, then reality must conform to that belief. Faith is not passive. It is active participation with the unseen. It speaks from fulfillment, feels from fulfillment, and acts from fulfillment. It aligns your entire being with the truth of your desire. Faith is the great refusal to accept appearances as final. It is the courage to look at emptiness and call it abundance, to look at illness and call it health, to look at limitation and call it freedom. This is not wishful thinking. It is alignment with the higher law, that the unseen governs the seen. When you stand firm in faith, you command life to mirror your conviction. So I tell you, hold fast to your faith. Do not waver, do not question. Do not let the silence of the unseen shake your certainty. Every blessing you long for is already alive in the invisible, waiting to clothe itself in form. Your belief is the hand that draws it near. Faith is the bridge, and once you walk it, the unseen must become the seen. Trust it, live in it, and you will behold with your eyes what you have already embraced within. Gratitude accelerates the shift because it anchors you in the awareness that your desire is already accomplished. To give thanks now, before the evidence appears, is to declare that you trust the unseen more than the visible. Gratitude is not simply a polite response once blessings arrive. It is a creative force that pulls blessings into form. The moment you give thanks for what you cannot yet see, you acknowledge that it already exists in the invisible realm. This act of faith speeds up its movement into the visible. Most people wait to express gratitude until the blessing has materialized. They say, I will be thankful once I have the money, once I am healed, once my dream is realized. But this is gratitude in reverse. True gratitude gives thanks in advance, knowing that the outer must eventually mirror the inner conviction. To say thank you before your hands can touch the blessing is to open the door wide for it to appear. Gratitude is the language of completion. It tells the mind and the universe that the work is already done. When you give thanks now, you shift your focus from lack to abundance. Instead of dwelling on what is missing, you affirm that it is already here. Gratitude dissolves resistance, quiets doubt, and fills the heart with expectancy. It lifts you from longing into fulfillment, from waiting into receiving. The one who gives thanks in advance no longer begs or chases. They simply rest in the assurance that all is complete. This restful confidence accelerates manifestation, for it aligns you perfectly with the state of having. Gratitude also magnifies the blessing. When you give thanks for what you have, even if it seems small, it multiplies. When you give thanks for what is unseen, it rushes to reveal itself. Life expands for the grateful soul because gratitude tunes the mind to abundance, and what you are tuned to, you draw near. Just as a radio set to the right frequency captures the broadcast, gratitude tunes your inner being to the frequency of fulfillment. Gratitude tunes your inner being to the frequency of fulfillment. Consider how gratitude feels. It is warm, joyful, light, and expansive. When you practice it, your entire inner state shifts into harmony with your desire. That state is the creative key. The world responds to states, not words. You cannot fool life with complaints while secretly hoping for change. But when you embody genuine gratitude, you are declaring that you already live in the reality you seek. This accelerates the shift because your inner world and your outer world must align. So give thanks now. Thank the money you cannot yet count, the opportunities you cannot yet see, the healing you cannot yet feel. Thank it as though it were already in your hands. Do not wait for appearances to justify your gratitude. Let your gratitude transform the appearances. For gratitude is not reaction, it is creation. It moves the unseen into the seen with speed and certainty. Give thanks now and watch how quickly your reality reshapes itself into wealth and blessings. Your reality is no longer bound by what was. It is shifting into wealth and blessings even now. The imagination you dare to hold, the refusal to bow to appearances, the recognition that wealth is already within you, the decision to live as though it is done, the faith that moves the unseen into the seen, and the gratitude that accelerates it all. These are not mere ideas. They are the laws by which your life is transformed. Everything you desire is already alive in the invisible, waiting for your assumption to call it forth. Stand firm in your inner vision, walk in the certainty of its fulfillment, and watch as your outer world bends to match your inner state. What once seemed distant will appear near. What once felt impossible will become natural. Wealth and blessings are not coming to you. They are already yours, unfolding in perfect time and perfect form. So live today in the joy of the accomplished, in the gratitude of the fulfilled, in the faith of the unseen made visible. Your reality is shifting and nothing can stop it. Thank you.